What's up, you guys? I am so excited to be back with another video of Reddit reviews. Welcome to the channel. As you guys know, I read off stories from Reddit that focus on relationships, and then I give my opinion. Sometimes I read the comments depending on how long my opinion or the story is. So let's get started. Today we have 3 stories. 2 of them are super long and one is just very simple. So let's get to it. Okay, story number 1. My husband wants a traditional wife. And just so you guys know, I do not read these beforehand. I pull them up, I see the title, and if it's interesting, then I load it up to go. Okay, so it says, husband wants a traditional wife. My husband is 28, I'm 30. We've been going through a very rough patch, and I'm struggling with what to do. We've been together 4.5 years, married for 2.5. We both work full-time in professional tech jobs, and so far I have taken a much larger share of household and life responsibilities like cleaning, cooking, managing finances and bills, managing healthcare for both of us, managing social activities. I was never fully happy with this setup, but thought he was genuinely trying to change and contribute in a more equal way whenever I brought it up. Fast forward to this summer, when my in-laws visited. I haven't seen them since before we got married, and they came with a lot of opinions and expectations about what I should be doing. Basically, take care of all the household duties as a wife. Through arguments and disagreements, my husband has now come to the conclusion that he wants a traditional wife who doesn't work and takes care of all household responsibilities and, in the future, kids, so that he doesn't have to be bothered with anything when he is done with work. On one hand, I enjoy my job and building my career, but that doesn't mean that I do not and am not willing to do other household responsibilities. I just want it to be an equal partnership. He admitted that in the past I had responsibility for majority of the things. As a result, that also makes me stressed and easily irritated. He claims that he supports and is happy for my career, but that he thinks I shouldn't have to work. I asked him, so is it okay with you if I don't work right now, because at the moment we cannot afford to live our lives if I don't work. At the moment I earned about 50% more. He said that me working now is to reach the future goal of only him working and me being a housewife. He apologized for misleading me in the past about what he wants in a relationship. I love him dearly and was very happy with him in the past before this, but I don't feel like I can continue down this path if he is adamant about the traditional wife relationship that he prefers. I feel like I'm not asking him to give up anything. I'm just asking him to contribute in a more equal way, which takes some time and effort. On the other hand, he expects me to eventually give up what I want to do and the sense of purpose and accomplishment I get from my career. I feel very hurt that he doesn't see me as an equal. Even though I am smart, educated, capable, he just sees me as someone to take care of him and any future kids. We've been distant from each other the past few weeks, and a part of me knows our extremely differing views won't work. But the other part of me wants to be happy and close with him again. I can't stop crying all the time. Okay, pause. That was kind of lengthy. My thoughts about this. Hindsight is 2020. I feel like this is why you're supposed to have these type of conversations before you get married. And you should have been hanging out with his family and getting a better understanding of what their family culture is. See, this is my thing. I feel like sometimes when people start dating, they feel like, well, I'm only dating the person. I'm not dating the family. But sweetheart or bro, whoever that person's family is, that's basically who you're dating, a version of the family. 9 times out of 10, whatever that person was brought up in, whether it was chaotic, toxic, good, whatever their family culture is, it's normal for them. It's comfortable. And so they're going to come into really all experiences with an expectation that things should be that way, especially when it comes to marriage. So I feel like that's on y'all both, because you didn't do your due diligence by making sure that you were on the same page when it comes to how you see your marriage working. Now, me personally, I'm all for being a traditional wife and then some. I'm a Christian, so I look at the Proverbs 31 woman. She was not just at home cooking, cleaning, taking care of her kids. She had her own small business that she was running quite well. She was out and about. She was managing a lot. Like she was a superwoman. So I feel like sometimes when people have this perception of traditional, it depends what traditional means for you. I also feel that it's not right for the man to feel that he should just go to work, come home, and do nothing. I am 100% against that. My dad was super active in our lives when it came to our education, our physical health, our mental health, our spiritual health, really everything across the board. At times it felt like he was more invested and took more of a leadership or driver's seat role than my mom did at times. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree that he should want you to be in this role of quote unquote traditional wife so that he can come home and be a bum and not have to worry about anything when he gets home. I don't think that's fair, because when you work a 9 to 5, you can clock out mentally and step away. When you're running your household, there is no stepping away. And I don't appreciate any man. I don't respect a male who wants to consider themselves a man who is not willing to take on the full mental load of raising a family and being in a healthy marriage. So I'm with you on that. I don't think that's right for him to do that. Let's see. Talking about his in-laws. Yeah, I feel like that should have been conversations y'all had beforehand. You guys were together for basically two years. You dated, and those are some conversations you should have had and saw between his family. And I'm trying to think back to my relationship when we were just in the dating phase, so that I'm being like, not biased and I'm being realistic. I don't know. I feel like we had conversations about what we wanted our home life to look like. And I knew that I was coming from a 2-parent household where my parents were married, and that he was coming from a single mother's house, single parent household. Of course, when you get married, you start to realize just how deep those differences go. And that's a huge learning curve. So, I don't know. There's only so much that the parents can give their opinions about. And you guys both have to take, what they say basically with a grain of salt, because what works for them may not work for you all. Don't agree with him. It kind of feels like allowing his parents to have a much larger influence over his opinion, as opposed to saying, hey, these are the aspects of my parents' life that I like. How can we find a balance, or how can we kind of incorporate certain things? I don't know, if I'm just being honest. I guess me personally, I don't mind the whole traditional wife not working a 9 to 5 job type of thing, just as long as my husband knows that it's not, the household duties just aren't going to be all on me. I don't think she should necessarily quit or work just because he wants her to quit. I think she should kind of go when she's ready to go. Let's see what else. I don't think this is a reason for a divorce, but I do think this is what happens when you get married and you're literally, meshing your lives together. I remember when I got married, and we're both Christian. I grew up, I guess you could say, evangelical, and he grew up Kojic, and we had a pretty lengthy discussion, argument, disagreement about church, about what type of church we were going to raise our children in. And me, I was like, I have no issues with not raising my children in an evangelical church, because I think that it's kind of boring, especially the church we were going to. Like, I didn't like the pastor. I thought he was completely inadequate. I didn't like the choir. I didn't like the experience. Even though that was a church I grew up in, it had changed and evolved over the years to the point that I was like, I'm okay with not doing evangelical, especially at that specific church. But he had such a deep tie. It was a fake deep tie, y'all. He had a deep tie to his church and his upbringing that he would kind of get a little irritated with me or bothered when I'm like, I'm not going to that type of church. I don't agree with any of their bylaws and the culture of that type of church. Like, I'm not doing it. I don't do pastor worship. I don't do none of that stuff. And it's so funny when you're meshing and combining your lives. At first, everything feels like an attack because it's all you've known for, 20 years. Even though, like, with him, he did not like his church. He has so many issues with it. And so I was like confused as to why he was giving me such pushback. Eventually, we both ended on the same page of, we have to find what works for us, and neither of those works for us, not individually and not together. But yeah, he gave me a lot of pushback, and that was a constant argument for a while. I want to say for a couple of months, maybe like 6 months, where it was just constantly going back and forth about, I guess just feeling defensive about his church. I didn't care. I was like, it's not happening. I forgot why I said that, but that's all I was saying. Okay. Yeah. Because I don't think that this is divorce worthy or any of that. But again, when you're married, you'll go a week without talking to the person, 2 weeks without talking to the person. It's so normal, especially in the beginning, because your brain is processing all this new information. You had a plan for your life, and you brought somebody along who you thought would, for the most part, agree with everything that you wanted. And now they're putting all of their feelings into yours, and you got to kind of shake it out and see what stays and what sticks and what doesn't. So my advice, stay strong, and just stay strong on where you stand, and be honest, continue to be honest with him about everything that you're saying, especially when it comes to him just not having any type of active, present leadership role in the house. Like, that's, to me, is a non-negotiable. I could see not working and maintaining the day-to-day, but just to feel like you're going to come home and not do anything, forget about it. So that's my advice on how to work through it. Of course, I'm a huge proponent of therapy, counseling. If you guys don't have the finances, you can go online and find workshops and little questionnaires that you can complete together. And when it comes to a marriage, you have to understand that it's you two against the world. That's your parents, friends, siblings, whoever. Their advice is only going to take you all so far, and you have to choose between what you're going to keep and what you're going to toss away. And so you cannot keep listening to the outside world and allowing their opinions to affect the way you guys communicate. He can't, sorry. So I would say continue to talk through it, make realistic plans, and I kind of feel like don't do something that you're going to end up regretting or resenting him for, because that's just a miserable life to live if you ask me. Okay, that was 15 minutes. I told y'all that was a long one. Okay, next story. I'll go with the short one. Okay, somebody says, do you think your spouse liking bikini / suggestive Instagram pics is disrespectful? Wow. So when I first saw this, I guess I read it too fast. I thought it said, do you think posting these photos is wrong? And to which I was going to say no, because I'll post a bathing suit photo. I'll post, like, especially if I'm on vacation, I'll post my photos on my Instagram, depending on the pose. Like, I won't show everything, but I'll post it for sure. Now, on the flip side, liking bikini suggestive pics is disrespectful. I say yes. I just don't think that it's right. Like, I'm trying to see, has my husband ever done that? I think he has. I think I've seen where he's liked, the big booty models. And I'm like, have you lost your mind? Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Why do I feel that way? I guess because I view it as disrespectful, and I view it as feeding your own personal individual flesh and lust of the eye. And I think it's slightly suggestive, if you will. I don't think it's appropriate for a husband to like those type of photos. I don't even think it's appropriate to follow anybody who posts continuous photos like that, because they're marketing one thing. And by you liking that or entertaining it, it means that you're kind of looking for that type of interaction and attention. And I think it can maybe start off innocent, and it can lead to some inappropriate conversations or inappropriate thoughts as it pertains to that person and maybe your relationship with your spouse. Now, I know you're probably wondering, like, well, if it's inappropriate for the husband to like the photos, why is it okay for you to post them? To which I will say, I feel like I said, I'm not posting where my boobs are all out or I'm showing my butt or things like that. They're just like cute photos. And I don't have anybody on my page that is a married person that's liking my photos either. Like, my page is not public to the point where I'm making myself accessible to the whole internet. If I were, I think that would be inappropriate. And if I was posting pictures where my butt was completely out, where it's like a thong bikini or something like that, I think that would be inappropriate. And I'll be honest and say, there is a piece of that does feed your or my flesh and desire to be viewed at as quote unquote beautiful or in shape. I think there's like a fine line. So you could just be posting it to kind of just show I'm healthy, my body's intact, I've had multiple kids and I'm still looking good, and I'm on vacation having a great time. And then right on the other side of that line is I'm looking for attention, hit me up in the DM, say something flirty, say something freaky, X, Y, and Z. And to be honest, I have had both. Like, I've had the photos where just my family has liked it, family, friends, and then I've had situations where I posted something and all the dudes from my past have liked it and have commented or messaged me and said something. And I think that's another part of being married and in a committed relationship, is that it constantly forces you to choose between self and your relationship. So it's, self-gratification is gratifying when people who, even if you would never give them the time of day, say nice things about you and give you compliments. But you have to choose between, okay, is these few comments from these few people more important than how that may make my spouse feel? And so I can honestly say I've not posted photos like that probably in like 2 years. Like, I know all 2023 I didn't post anything. Probably the end of 22 I didn't really post anything, because you don't know what type of attention you're gonna get and why chance it. So, and because I don't like my spouse liking photos like that, and I wouldn't want him to continue. He didn't. I would definitely feel some type of way if he did. Yeah, it's all about choosing between what's more important. Let's see. All right, let's get into some comments. Oh, somebody said, I don't think they realize other people see it. One time my dad made a nasty comment on a woman's photo on Facebook, and I saw it. I wanted to die. Oh, that would be so embarrassing. First of all, my dad is married. He doesn't really do social media, thank God, but that would be terrible. Oh my gosh. Somebody said that specifically is how I learned my husband was using mutual friends, acquaintances, and thirst accounts to jerk off to. Ooh, I kept seeing so-and-so like so-and-so's photo, or it showed what he commented. The stuff he said and the amount of picture he liked were insane. When I told him it wasn't okay and it hurt me, he stopped doing it to people we knew. And then years later, I learned he traded that behavior for SEX workers on all accounts instead. He dedicated hours a day to doing so effed up. Baby, it sounds like your husband got a problem. Somebody said, I recently discovered my husband doing the same thing. He created alternate social media accounts and secret emails with fake names. That's how he was able to keep his OF account hidden for 2 years. Ooh, what? Oh my gosh. See, if it gets to that point, babe, first of all, you're spending too much time focusing on that and not enough time focused on the real world. For real. That would blow me. I would definitely go into like crazy prayer, and I would check my spouse about that, because that's just a lot. That's just allowing Satan and your flesh to have too much time, and you're wasting all of your potential when you could be elevating your life to really get to like your dreams and accomplish stuff. That's so sad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, basically everybody's saying it's disrespectful. And I will say this. If I was on Instagram liking male models or local guys who post pictures in their, undergarments or all their muscles out and all of that, I think that would be inappropriate. I don't do that. I don't have any of that on my Instagram feed. If you look at it, it's everything that relates to what I'm passionate about. Home ownership, businesses, small businesses, food, like cooking, baking, things like that. So I think that's very indicative of, where their heart and mind is. If that's just too much. All right, come on. Next, we're going to get to the last story. There's another long one, y'all. Bear with me. So it says, my wife told me about a threesome that she had before us. So happy I found this forum. I'm 49. My wife is 48. what? We married 4 years ago. I'm sorry, we married 4 months ago after dating for 4 years. We were engaged for 12 months before our wedding. We have a wonderful sex life and have sex at least 3 times per week. For a few years, she told me, I'm sorry, y'all. For a few years, she had told me that she, at one time, was with a woman and loved it. She told me that she had not ever told her lifelong, she never even told her lifelong best friend. We talked about her hooking up with a woman a few times, usually over a few drinks, and I found it was very hot that she would share this with me, and also the fact that she told me about it. Our relationship has been wonderful with only one issue, and that was about an ex of hers, whom she had dated for 8 years, but had been broken up with for the last 5 years. She talked about him constantly, kept mementos and love notes from him where they were easy to find, would provide updates to me about where he is in life, etc. It got to the point where I was going to break up with her over this, and she apologized. Other than still bringing him up now and then, we moved on. Then she dropped a bomb on me about 3 months before our wedding and told me that when she hooked up with another woman, it wasn't actually just with the woman, but it was in a threesome with a specific ex and how much he loved it. I let it go and didn't say anything. And then again, out of the blue, a few weeks later, she brought it up again and told me how much he enjoyed it. I don't know why, but I am very bothered by the fact that she indeed had to tell me that she had a threesome with this ex and the fact that he enjoyed it so much. I know I am bothered, not that it was a threesome, but it was with this guy from her past that we had directly had issues with. I just can't stop thinking about it. I asked her why she had to tell me about it, and she ignores me and walks away. I also mentioned a few times that I have never experienced a threesome, and if she would ever consider having one with the three of us, and she just ignores me. Not only does she not want to talk about it, but it has started to affect our relationship. I do not feel that I am insecure, as I have gotten to know her ex-husband, not this ex, and we have actually all spent time together. I have also never gotten jealous in my past relationships when my partner talked about their ex. And in fact, I have hung out with partners' exes together. This time, it is just different because she had talked about him so much in the past, and now she is talking about her sexual past with this specific ex that she seemed so obsessed with, and then drops this on me right before we married. I feel like an idiot that is bothering me so much, and I'm starting to worry that this may lead to the end of our marriage. Okay, 30-second pause. Okay, y'all. First of all, I think, I'm not trying to be rude, but y'all almost 50. Like, y'all are almost 50. Like, I know it doesn't change. It doesn't end. People still have needs and desires, but y'all almost 50. Like, come on now. Okay, now that I'm past the age, I feel like y'all dated for 4 years, married for 4 months. Low-key, it sounds like she want to have another threesome. It sounds like she wants to have a threesome with you and another chick and her, or she wants you to give her the okay to have a threesome with Buddy and another girl. Either way, it looks like she wants something more sexually and just doesn't know how to voice it. And maybe she's feeling uncomfortable and unsure how to navigate the conversation with you. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I feel like the fact that she told you, keep talking about her ex. I'm trying to think. When I first got married, I know I always give my personal experiences, but I have to. When I first got married, I remember there was at least one ex that I still was kind of like, I will say I wasn't completely over this ex. There was still like this feeling of, you know, reflecting on what that person I had, and just kind of like the way that person made me feel. It was so like such a spark, and it was a level of excitement that my husband didn't provide, and that he didn't even have like the personality to provide it. And so that in itself took a lot of growing up for me to just realize that, you know, your husband's not going to be that person. That person wasn't even good for you necessarily. And the cards just weren't played out that way for you and that person to be together. But that's why I was 19, 20. These people are 50. Like, sweetheart, you've been married at least once, dated this dude 8 years ago. Now you got this new husband. You should already know what things are appropriate or what's inappropriate. I feel like being 1 year from 50, you should not be constantly bringing up your ex and this and that about him. Then you should go back to your ex at this point. And my thing is with Buddy, so y'all dated for 4 years, from the time you was 45 until 49. Why? No, it has to be longer than that. So they've been in each other's lives for about 5.5 years, because they were engaged for 12 months before their wedding. I just feel like, so was she talking about him the whole 4 years? If that's the case, you should have nipped that in the bud and came to some type of resolve of either we going forward and you're not talking about him, or you baby go try things back out with him since it was so good. I'm just not understanding why she is doing this. I don't know. I don't think it's jealousy. I think it's inappropriate. And you keep doing inappropriate things as if it's cool, and it's not okay. I'm trying to figure out. So when he even offered to do a threesome with them three, and she just ignores it. Like, why are you just ignoring it? Maybe she want to see how like serious, you know, how serious you are about it. Like, I don't know. We need an update on this one, because this is crazy. What I would do in this situation, I'm not into no threesomes or nothing like that. I would not feel comfortable with my spouse constantly talking about their ex when we've been together for about, 5 years now. And she had plenty of opportunity to go back to that person. You chose not to, and you chose to build a life with me. So this is where your mind needs to be. Get with it, baby. That would be my advice. Figure out, are you gonna stay in the past, or are you gonna be present and in the future with what we have going on? I'm just shocked at the fact that they're so old doing all of this. And I know 50's not old, I know, but it's old enough. Somebody said in the comments, sounds like she isn't over her ex. Yeah. Sounds like she wants to train with her ex-husband, with her husband and her ex. Yeah, but then why when he suggested it, did she get quiet and walk off? He said, I have asked her why she had to tell me, and she just ignored me and walked away. That's the big question, though. Why did she have to tell you about it? True. And she too old to be not talking about nothing and walking away. No, I'm talking to you, and we need to sit down and have a conversation. Maybe you said she talked about her experience with the girl over drinks. Maybe get a few drinks in her, get her comfortable, and try to have a conversation. I don't know. Somebody said maybe she's trying to hint she wants a 3. That's what I said. But would you be willing to do that? I feel like if you do that, then are you going to feel jealous? That's when the insecurity and the jealousy might come in. No. I don't even agree with sharing your spouse. Once we're in that type of relationship, I'm not sharing you. I could have just kept you as my girlfriend or boyfriend for that. But he doing something to her, you doing something to her, you're going to constantly be thinking, is she enjoying him more? Is he doing it better? Is he bigger? Is he... No. Why even put yourself through that? I wouldn't do that. Somebody said, I think she wants one with the ex and the other woman while the husband watches. That's a good one too. I think she's into that. I feel like she low-key is a big old freak, and she just don't know how to truly unveil herself to him. I feel like she's been hiding it, and she's been dropping little hints when she needs to just be a big girl, like the old woman she is, and just come out and say, this is what I'm into, this is what I want to do. Tell me what you think about it, and let him decide. Somebody said this is a red flag. I would be worried. I do think she's trying to manipulate some type of situation. Like I say, instead of just coming out and saying, this is where I stand, she's trying to slowly ease him into it. And I don't appreciate that. And she's using manipulative tactics to do that. Okay. I'm trying to see if he responded. I don't think he responded with an update. So we'll wrap it up there. My advice, give her a few drinks and y'all talk about it and see what's going on. But don't allow yourself to be manipulated, because then you're going to resent her, and then you're going to regret it, and then your marriage will be over. So, okay. Well, you guys, this was another good video. I'm liking my longer videos, giving you guys more stories to listen to all at once instead of breaking it up into 3-4 videos. And that's all I have for today. Those are my 3 stories. We talked about the husband who wants a traditional wife. We talked about your spouse liking bikini and suggestive photos online, and then we talked about the freaky old wife. So I would love to hear what you all think down in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.